Hey guys, welcome back to the LPL League. This is the semifinals of the losers bracket between Virtus.Pro and Tricked eSports. My name's Osiglis, with me is Synergy, and we just saw Virtus.Pro pick up game 1. This is a really important game for Tricked. If they lose this, they are out of the tournament, they are out of the running for the $20,000 prize pool that LPL League has. It's gonna be a big game. I'm excited to see what happens. What about you, Synergy?
Yeah, that last game was so much fun to watch. VP with the aggressive tower diving comp just meant that they were not afraid to engage, and it's just one of those games where you're like, damn, this is really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, and I love seeing Petra on Kassadin. Interestingly, that has not been banned out by Tricked, and in fact, Lucian Corky being banned out by Virtus.Pro is a very bold decision, considering that Graves can be first picked by Tricked Gaming. They're not necessarily going to get what they want for Vincent Vega this time around.
Yeah, actually, these pick bans are not what I was expecting at all. I mean, we were briefly talking about this just now, but we didn't expect both the Corky and the Lucian ban. The Corky ban we expected, because we know Salna's a good Corky player. But to ban away the Lucian, if they want that Graves and it gets first pick, that leaves them without a lot of things. So actually, I expect them to pick it up now that Tricked haven't taken it away.
There we go. It is being locked in for Virtus.Pro. So Vincent Vega on his Graves, same from last game. Oh, and he gets the Janna with it this time around. This is a double threat as well, because not only is Janna plus Graves a strong lane, against the Zed, it's going to be so useful being able to monsoon him off of Graves.
Yeah, I have to say that the first pick on Zed is very questionable, really, because with the power pick of Janna open, she shuts Zed down so hard. And we also know that Vincent Vega in that last game likes to run exhaust on his ADs, as we saw against that Lissandra. I don't see how this Zed is really going to be able to effectively get onto Vincent Vega here.
It is going to be very difficult, and maybe what we're just going to see is a lot of the times you get Zeds, split pushing off into the other lanes so that you can just try and apply pressure elsewhere, get 1 versus 1 situations, which is where he's strongest. If he can get ahead enough in the early game in that middle lane, or top lane if he decides to go there, then maybe he could go for that split push strategy. But look at how long Tricked are spending trying to get these picks. They've only got a few seconds left. North, you gotta lock something in, buddy. There we go. There's gonna be a Caitlyn and a Sona locked in. If there's any lane that can maybe deal with, or maybe, over-aggress against Virtus.Pro's bot lane, it's gonna be Sona and Caitlyn. They have got a lot of poke damage and a decent amount of sustain.
Yep, definitely, and it also gives them the opportunity to lane swap as well. Caitlyn and Sona are very, very strong in lane swaps, are able to punish any melee range top laner so heavily. Everyone knows Sona's poke is just absolutely disgusting, and Caitlyn's range as well is so hard to deal with. But as you said, it gives them that ability to actually take the 2v2 if they want it as well. Caitlyn Sona is going to be able to outrange Graves Janna pretty heavily, and so it gives them a good opportunity to trade, especially in those early levels. I am surprised though that Tricked didn't look to take away this Pantheon, because it didn't get banned either, and we saw how much work that Mirror did it on that last game, and indeed last week as well.
Yeah, and it looks like he is considering picking it up again, along with a Mundo pickup, which is a very interesting one. It's not something we have seen very much, frequently. It used to be quite a big deal. But actually, last second, Caster's Curse, we're going to see that Jarvan coming out instead of Pantheon. I kind of like that pick when you're working with a Janna as well. It gives you a bit more team fight presence rather than that early game. And if you're going with the Mundo, certainly that's something you want to be looking for.
Yeah, so the Mundo, I like the Mundo pick as well, because it's just another target that Zed isn't going to be able to get onto. Like, why would you ever ult a Mundo as Zed? It's just not going to happen, especially when you pop
closer.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just going to be able to run. I think he'd actually be able to deal with, if they send this Zed off to split push in the side lane, Mundo is actually a prime candidate to deal with that, purely because of how tanky he is, and those cleavers do start to hurt if you don't have much magic resistance.
Yeah, and you can tell by looking at the Caitlyn and the Sona picks that at least Tricked were entertaining the notion of doing that, because obviously Caitlyn and Sona have a good amount of disengage. Whoa! Whoa! There's a Poppy pick, Synergy. I
like this a lot, okay. So, what it does is it gives Tricked a double split push threat. We've seen Poppy mainly from Vizichachi from the Unicorns of Love, and he likes to pick it into things like Maokai, which are weak laners. Mundo, back when the tank meta was really prevalent, Renekton was around, he was known as being the weakest laner of them all. but we know he scales into that late game threat. Poppy has the ability to punish Mundo early on, and she scales into that late game so well. You all saw the damage that Vizicachi was able to put out with that Poppy, you know, essentially drawing 4 people into the bottom lane in some of their games. So I think this is a really good pickup for them. If they can make it work, this is going to be such a fun game to watch.
Well, I mean, this is their last chance. They've got to make it work. This is all or nothing. If they lose this game, they're out of the low PL. They have no more chances at winning that $20,000 prize pool. Similarly for VP, they want us to close it out here. You know, they want to end this right now, move on to the losers bracket finals. Guys, stay with us. We're going to be right back for the looking to be insane second game of this best of 3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LoL Pro League. This is the last chance for Tricked here. They need to make sure that they win this game. Otherwise, VP, if they win this, they'll be going forward to the losers bracket final. But, in case you're just joining us, my name's Elsiglas. I'm here with Synergy, and let's introduce the teams real quick. In the bottom left-hand side of the map, we've got Tricked Gaming, Tricked eSports rather, got Homer in the top lane on the Poppy pickup, Moarth in the jungle on Elise, Tyradus in the mid lane on Zed, and Sona and Nico in the bot lane on Caitlyn and Sona.
And playing red side of this second game of the series is Virtus.Pro. In the top lane we have Power of Dreams picking up the Mundo. In the jungle we've got Mirazend on Jarvan. In the mid lane we've got Peter on Orianna. And in that bot lane making up the duo lane it's going to be Vincent Vega on Graves and Licorice on Janna.
Alright, so this game, you know, nothing too different going on in the level 1 here. We're just seeing lots of wards spread out across the river, making sure that they can see everything. Hopefully they can figure out where, you know, people are going to be starting, etc. It looks like we're going to be seeing 4 people still in this top jungle. I'm not sure what trick they're trying to do here. I think they're trying to ascertain whether or not they're going to be versus Mundo in the top lane or in the bottom lane, because obviously they really want to get Homer against Power of Dreams here. They do not want to put Poppy into a 2v1 situation, but it's looking like that's what they're going to end up doing, because they just don't have good enough vision deep enough into the jungle to do anything differently.
Yeah, this is really surprising out of Trick, to be honest. That Poppy needs the 1v1. She is not going to survive in a lane swap. I mean, and even farming jungle, while it's safer, yes, it doesn't give her the CS that she needs to become that late game terror that we all know. So I'm surprised that Tricked have called this lane swap. I wonder whether they just thought VP wanted to lane swap themselves.
I think that's likely. I mean, maybe they were just trying to out-mind game each other, you know, just bluff and counter-bluff, basically. But Nico, he got to lane, he saw Power of Dreams, and instantly started to recall. He then decided to stick around, which is an interesting choice, I think. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna end up with Homer in the 2v1, it makes the most sense to just send Sona down with him to make sure that he can at least get some farm. But at the moment, you know, it looks like Nico's just wandering around trying to get some stuff done in the jungle, get some deep wards down, and he's not heading towards that bottom lane yet.
Yeah, I think they need to make sure that Homer... Actually, Homer we see sticking around with Elise in the jungle to make sure he gets some levels. I wouldn't be surprised if once we see Homer teleport back, get some items, or if possible, get some more potions or something, then move over to that bottom lane. I wouldn't be surprised then if we saw Nico head down to join him. But right now, I just think that Tricks know that he's going to get punished too heavily while he's only level 2.
Look at this mid lane, by the way. Tyrannus is taking so much harass. Petra Poker doing the thing we see a lot of Oriannas doing nowadays. You take your shield at level 1. Obviously, Tyrannus, he tries to shuriken her, just shields up, doesn't really do anything. And he is actually falling very low. We're going to see Moarth actually coming to back up Homer in this bot lane. They just need to shove the wave off the tower really badly. They do not want to lose as many of these creeps as possible to the tower, and they also don't want lots of tower damage going down.
Yeah. Actually, I think possibly if they chose to give up the tower, if this may be a good idea, because it would leave Poppy pushed in where she could farm safely. Mundo, if he pushes up that aggressively, especially in the early levels, isn't going to be able to sort of escape very well, especially not with the hard CC coming from Elise. But obviously, as you said, we want to get Poppy as much CS as possible, and she's going to have a hard time as a melee champion against.
Whoa, Moarth. Ooh, the Howling Gale nearly going down. He actually doesn't have a target to descend to Mirror End, putting some damage onto Tyrannus in the mid lane as well. No summoners being burned across the board, though. That was two very, relatively close things in the mid lane. Actually, I lie. Smite and Chilling Smite was burned in that middle lane. Tyrannus, though, he has taken a lot of damage. Finally able to get some poke back onto Petra, though.
Yeah. Just to touch on this Zed again, they're running double exhaust. Orianna has exhaust as well. Interestingly, the exhaust on Janna this time. Not the same that Vincent Vega ran last game, where he actually ran it on himself. And I mentioned in Champs League, I thought he'd use that himself, but I'm interested to know why that they've decided to do this, because I think if Vincent was able to defend himself with the exhaust, he'd be literally a autonomous backline. He wouldn't need as much support from Janna, and she'd be free to sort of look for those clutch ultimates and stuff.
Oh, hang on a second. Top lane. Look at how much damage Power of Dreams is doing. He has 15 CS up right now, and actually VP are swapping this lane back. They really do not want Homer in a 1 versus 1 situation. To be fair, though, right now, even if he was, Power of Dreams is significantly far ahead. They might not be able to make the most out of it if Homer wasn't a 1v lane at this point.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they've sent him back.
Oh, they might go for a dive here, actually.
Yeah, that's possible. But we all know Poppy, because of her passive, doesn't take all that much damage. So I think we are going to see this, though, just looking at how aggressively Janna and Mundo are playing right now.
Jarvan's walking up,
they are going to lose the wave.
Oh, Homer. He needs to be careful here. I don't know why he's stuck around for so long. There comes the Howling Gale. Whoa, so much damage on Power of Dreams, and he does get stunned into the wall. Homer, he is nearly down. He does fall. Tyrannus in the mid lane gets up. Petra, though. Mirror End came in for a gank, but Moarth was there for the counter gank. Now they're going on to Mirror End. So much damage from Moarth. He does get the kill, although Mirror End does a good job of picking up Tyrannus in return. 2 for 2 so far, but it looks like Virtus.Pro leading by about 400 gold as a result of those crazy fights.
Yeah, that was a really well executed dive from VP, and good adaptation from keeping that Mundo in the top lane. It's gonna make Poppy's life a nightmare right now. What they were looking for with this game is to really get this speed going, get that 1v1 lane, and snowball it. It's almost one of those cheesy picks where you're like, people don't know how to deal with it, but they've really lost that surprise factor with that. Now that she's, almost 20 CS down to this Mundo.
I feel like, maybe the way of doing this, considering that they know that obviously Virtus.Pro are going to want to swap into it, is picking something that just, shoves out really quick. And to be honest, they've got that. Caitlyn is a great shoving champion. They are going to get this tower down very quickly. So it hasn't been too bad so far by Tricked. I mean, obviously, Homer's far behind, but at least they're getting something out of it.
Yeah, it's a global objective in exchange for this Poppy taking a little bit longer to scale up. But
oh, hang on, Mirror End of the bot lane. Power of Dreams has hit 6. He is going to be going in. Nico gets knocked up, falling very low. Good heals, keeping him alive for now. Great trap onto Power of Dreams, and now the turnaround onto Mirror End. Can Sana get there? The flash for he picks it up. Great flash from Nico in the back as well to get away from the cleaver. One more heal goes down. Now doesn't look like Power of Dreams can get this, and now Sana, he's coming around the side, not going to chase onto it. Good decision there, I think, but really nice turnaround in a gank that was completely started by Virtus.Pro. Mid lane as well. Deathmark going down onto Pietra. Tyrannus jumping forward. Can he get the last attack? He does, jumping back to his shadow. Tricked turning up the heat right now.
Yep, they knew what they had to do in this game, and they've come out swinging. And this bot lane is what surprised me the most. As you said, you know, the gank was initiated by...
Oh, hang on, Licorice in the top lane needs to be careful. The cocoon does land. Ultimate from Homer has been obtained, so he's going to be able to take no damage to Vince Vega. Licorice, he's so low, can he get it? The smite goes down onto him, he falls. Now Homer, he's got to turn around and run away from Vince Vega. Does not want to pick that fight. Vega just hit 6, but does not really have enough mana to chase onto this. Tricked, man, they're looking fearsome right now.
Marathon this Elise is doing work. We saw him in that mid lane get the gank down onto Pietra, and that forced him to use his exhaust and his flash, and then that's the reason we saw Zed pick up that solo kill just a bit later, and now we see him rotate into that top lane and pick up yet another kill. He's doing some seriously good work for his team, and he has that Sightstone now. That's going to be so important for shutting down this job.
Yeah, it's going to be very useful to make sure that, you know, there's just not any easy ganks from your end to take, and he needs to be taking some ganks right now. He needs to bring these lanes back into it. Virtus.Pro, he was absolutely dominating Tyrannus' health early on. He's now died 2 times. Tyrannus is suddenly very far ahead. Nico actually coming in for the gank. Can he land the crescendo? Yes, he does. Pietra, you are so dead, my friend. Exhaust going down. Is it going to be enough? He is actually getting fairly far away. Can Nico get to the last one? Whoa! I gotta bite my words here. Pietra got away from that.
It was the happy feet there at the end, just dodging out the way, completely juking out Tyrannus with where he threw his shuriken. Really well played by Pietra. By no account.
Oh, Nico, hang on. The Howling Gale lands. North is here to land the cocoon on the Power of Dreams, but now Mirror End coming in as well. The ultimate ticking from Mundo, of course. Moarth, he did not want to save his friend here. He is likely going to fall. Tyrannus, though, he comes into the side, jumping on the Mirror's End. Power of Dreams is very low. So much AoE damage coming out from Tyrannus in his shadows. Moarth does get picked up by Vincent Vega. Collateral damage not enough. Sauna is here. What a crazy fight. Actually ends up being a 1-for-3 in favor of Tricked. How did that happen?
An overextension by VP there. They thought they'd got the drop onto Sona. I don't think they quite expected, you know, 3 people to suddenly collapse onto them. And they're not respecting the fact how strong this Zed is, to be honest. We saw him absolutely explode Jarvan there. You know, the ultimate combo just took him down to about 10% hit points, and then, you know, it was an easy pickup from there.
Whoa, look at Sauna
3
as well. He actually burned Vincent Vega's heal there. That was crazy. And Power Dreams, he's still doing a good job against Homer, right? But that's pretty much all VP's got going for them right now.
Yeah, obviously Vincent Vega is 2-0 at the moment, but he can't touch this Caitlyn. This Caitlyn's 20 CS up on him. The range is just absolutely killing him in this 1v1. What they've got to look to do, look into that late game scaling if they can get there. This Mundo is going to be really, really difficult to kill. I mean, there is no real magic damage coming out of the side of Trick, aside from Elise, and I can't see Elise. I mean, she's gone for that Juggernaut, which to me already suggests that she's going to be prioritizing health over offensive stats. So,
look at that dragon pickup.
Stack up some armor. Yeah.
The dragon pickup was just completely uncontested. I mean, VP just don't even feel like they can fight right now.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. Zed, I mean, he doesn't quite have his ultimate up. I'm not sure if they had the timer on that one. It's just a 3-1 Elise, 3-1 Zed, and a 2-0 Caitlyn. They're all strong mid champions. How do you deal with that when they're this far ahead at the moment? It's going to take a really big shockwave from Orianna, and also they didn't have that exhaust up on Orianna too, so she becomes an instant target for Deathmark.
Yeah, and actually, you know, decent amount of poke going down there onto the tower. Tricked have got the ability to do some good sieging too, especially if Caitlyn gets there. That range really helps when you're coming to take towers. Homer, yes, he's still, you know, behind. He's about 30-something CS behind. But if the game goes late enough, it's not going to matter, and he's got a team who's in a position to get him to that late game right now.
Yeah, what Tricked need to do is apply so much pressure on the rest of the map that they force Power of Dreams to move down and make it a 5v4, so that VP can defend these towers. You know, with Caitlyn and with Sona, they have a really strong potential to siege, as you've just mentioned. If they can do that and draw Power of Dreams away from this top lane, Homer's going to be able to free farm and catch back up, and then he's going to start to become scary. once he can dive onto Vincent Vega and onto Petra.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely going to be very scary for Virtus.Pro. They need to make sure that doesn't happen. How are you going to do that? Well, I think the way that Virtus.Pro needs to deal with this is maybe trying to get a pick, you know, as Tricked are rotating between lanes to go for sieges. If they can get a pick, then they can force like a 4v4 and they won't, or sorry, a 4v3, and they won't need Power of Dreams to come down. He can keep applying the pressure onto Homer, and maybe they can slowly eke out a lead. Because if it gets to the late game, I do think that Virtus.Pro have a good team composition. Oh, Vincent Vega in the bot lane, though. Tyrannus, he is getting engaged on by Moa, though. The death mark is gonna pop, but he gets flashed on. Good job by Mirror to counter gank there.
Oh yeah. In my opinion, VP's late game, it's a very strong team. Like obviously, you know, Jarvan and Orianna has always been heralded as one of those sort of comps you look to get with your mid lane jungle. Plus this Janna sort of CC as well. They could potentially do a lot of damage, and they have a good way of disrupting Trick sort of pick potential. And also with that Mundo, he's just going to be so tanky late game. The problem is they have to get there. And I think, as you mentioned, a good way for Trick to do that is look for those picks. But another thing they could possibly look to do is get control over VP's blue buff. Because the only serious wave clear they have currently on the side of Virtus.Pro is that Orianna. Otherwise, everyone else has to sort of get up close and really get in there. And that's when Trick's are going to be able to look for those picks.
That is a good point. It's actually, you know, even with the blue buff, it's still a struggle for Virtus.Pro to really deal with these waves, especially when you've got good pushers like Sauna coming into the equation. So it's a hard matchup for Virtus.Pro to get to the point they need to get to. Definitely once they get to the later game, though, they've got a good chance here.
Yeah. I think actually what would be good for Virtus.Pro is if they can give up the next dragon. I don't think they want to fight for it, because of how strong Tricked are in this mid game right now. That could just lead, if they lose a fight at Dragon, I think that essentially means game over for them. Or any serious loss of fight at Dragon. Gonna start to snowball out of their control and push this mid game of Tricked even further ahead than it already is. What they need to do is just keep stalling these waves out and look to make a pick in their own jungle. Get control of their jungle so Tricked can't get it.
Whoa, actually, getting pop by Power of Dreams. Same death mark coming out of Tyrannus here as well. He's trying to go on Power of Dreams. He can't really pick up the kill. Nico in the mid lane. Collateral damage doing a lot, but a great crescendo hits both. Exhaust has to go down Sona before he makes a return kill onto Vincent. The Eye of the Storm doing a good job of keeping up. Buckshot picking it up as well. Ace in the hole not going to pick up. Mirror End, though, gets counterganked by Moarth here after he picks up Tyrannus and is able to lock that one down. So ultimately, just a 1 versus 1. Although Vincent Vega, he jumps in. Can he get onto Sauna? Not quite. Sauna, oh, the flash from Vincent Vega does pick it up. Nico, can he turn around, get a power cord onto him? Not quite. Nico's solo flash forward from Lickrit. Oh, Nickrit, he is under the tower. Very close to falling there, but a good Eye of the Storm keeping him healthy. And Virtus.Pro actually doing a good job there. 2 for 1 overall. The Moar, he is going on to Power of Dreams. The Power of Dreams took so much damage there. Percentage health damage coming out of Elise does a lot against the Mundo.
Oh yeah, definitely. And despite that, throughout the whole time, we didn't see Homer look to TP anywhere. I wonder if he could have TP'd into this bot lane. But at the same time, we also know he needs to get that farm up. But VP are doing a good job of pressuring, actually. They're keeping this top wave shoved in, and I think that's part of the reason why Homer isn't able to get across the map and, you know, really support his team, though he is catching up in CS to this Mundo now.
You know, it's just like we were talking about earlier. Before the Poppy pick, we said, okay, well, the Mundo and the Zed, right? Mundo is going to be a hard target for Tyrannus to kill if he goes for a split push. That's what we just saw there, but they actually abandoned, for whatever reason, the idea of shutting down Homer's farm by putting Power of Dreams in the top lane. So Power of Dreams, he actually fell. Mirror End, Moarth was there to pick that up, but Homer has caught up in farm as a result of that. He's only 1 behind right now.
Yeah, and once Poppy finishes her Trinity Force, that's like, as with a lot of Trinity Force units, that's a big spike for her. So I actually think Rick are going to be looking for this 5v5 around this dragon. I mean, they're spawning in about the next 5 to 10 seconds, so if they can secure this dragon with this Poppy down here and get a good solid fight, that really puts the game ahead, you know, almost out of reach of VP.
He gets cocooned. Hang on a second. Tyrannus, he wants to go in, but the Howling Gale stops him. Mirror End is there to back him up as well. That could have been very dangerous if you used your Living Shadow into. We're going to see the TP coming out. Power of Dreams, he needs to come back. His team up. Cocoon misses. Tyrannus having to run away. He's actually quite low health right now. It's going to be risky if they decide to fight for this. Homer's in the top lane, does have teleport available, but I'm not sure about this for Tricked. I mean, they're kind of in a bad position to go for it. And Petra actually getting locked by the trap there. Teleport coming down from Homer. They want to go in here. Cocoon lands on Vincent Vega. Here we go. Power of Dreams taking a lot of damage at the beginning. Good ultimate by Poppy onto him to stop him from getting any damage down. And now Homer jumping towards the backline. Tyrannus falls to Vincent Vega. He dived a little bit too deep. Mirror End getting taken quite low. Nico, though, needs to run away. He was so low. Sauna as well. Oh, nearly able to get it, but more Mirror End even does go down. Vincent Vega now very low. North, can he pick it up? Yes, he can. Can he get Power Dreams too? Yes, he can. No, yes, there we go. Ace coming out Tricked. What a crazy fight. So many low health targets at the end there.
Yeah, so as I said, if Tricked got the fight that they really wanted, it's gonna put them so far ahead. I mean, and look at this Poppy now. I don't think VP really respected the Poppy. I feel like they thought it was still, oh, she's like 50 CS down and not particularly useful. But she has a Trinity Force. As I just said, that's a huge spike for any Poppy. Like, we saw her jump straight into the backline, absolutely decimate Petra. And yeah, I just not sure VP really respected that.
Yeah, I mean, of course as well, when you've got a target like a Mundo who's trying to dive your backline and Poppy puts Diplomatic Immunity onto him, it means that it's so hard to kill the Poppy. I mean, Homer, yes, he might not have many items, but it doesn't really matter. His tankiness isn't determined by what items he has. It's determined by who Diplomatic Immunity's on. And right there, it wasn't on any target that could deal damage to him, therefore he just didn't take any.
Exactly. You know, you get it onto the support, you get it onto the Mundo, and obviously the fact that he can't be CC'd either. So Orianna ult does nothing, the Jarvan EQ does nothing. The only way to keep this Poppy down is if they can get a Cataclysm onto her and keep her sort of physically locked in there. But even then, if she gets the charge out, you know, can't contain that.
Yeah, I mean, Homer does need to be careful, though. If he does get Shockwave before being able to use Diplomatic Immunity, for example, he is going to take a lot of damage, and maybe whoever, you know, gets the Diplomatic Immunity, it might be worth it for them to turn around onto him. It's a very case-by-case basis style thing. Vincent Vega, I want to talk about him real quick. Look at his farm in comparison to Sauna. Obviously, he's doing really good in kills. 5-2-1. He is a brawler. He goes for those fights all the time, but CS-wise, he's about 40 down right now.
Yeah, I think that's just a product of the matchup that they're running. You know, Sona Caitlyn does have the potential to abuse Graves Janna because of poke, because of the range. I don't think necessarily the lane swap went entirely how VP wanted it to. They did get the Mundo ahead, but obviously the Caitlyn was allowed to free farm, and then they swapped back to that 2v2 lane, and Caitlyn was just too far ahead for this Graves to really deal with. And now that they've lost the advantage in that top lane, you know, Poppy's now caught up and is pretty much similar in items to this Mundo. I don't feel the initial strategy of the lane swap has quite gone how VP wanted it to.
Are you ready for your mind to be blown? Poppy actually has more total gold than Mundo right now.
This is the problem now, that they didn't stem the bleeding. Tricked did stem the bleeding very well, and they've managed to get this Poppy back in the game. For VP, that's the problem.
Oh, hang on a second. Tyrannus, he's split pushing way too deep here. Mirror's End and Power of Dreams are here, but good death mark on the Mirror's End. Can he turn around? He is doing a lot of damage. Knight goes down. He actually picks it up and gets away the Cataclysm, keeping Power of Dreams locked in. Not able to chase onto him, but the movement speed. Can he catch up here? One cleaver. He does land it. Tyrannus, he is going to fall, but in the middle lane, Vincent Vega getting exhausted on the tower. So Sauna. Dashboard by Vincent Vega. He's doing a lot of damage on the Sauna. Collateral damage coming in. Heal. Is it going to be enough? Sauna has to flash away now. Vincent Vega being turned onto. The ultimate goes down onto Liquid. Flash behind Vincent Vega. That might put him in danger. Oh man, this is so close. Vincent Vega, the headshot picks it up, and now Moar Spear. He is trying to chase onto this Liquid, though. He's able to get the kill on the Sauna, but Moar surely going to be able to pick this one up. Actually, Nico steals it away. Crazy fight there. 2 for 2 in the end, if you count both lanes.
Yeah, it's absolutely explosive. And I gotta give massive credit to Tyrannus in that bot lane.
Whoa, Shockwave actually went on to Homer, but it wasn't able to get it. Putra having to back away here because Moeth and Nico are coming up. Don't think they're going to go for this tower dive, though. It'd be very risky to do so, especially with Mirror End coming nearby. Nico spotted that in the Tribush, so it's just going to be a disengagement coming out of Tricked. Unless Mirror End can make this distance up somehow. He is nearby on Moeth. Can he get the flag and drag? It looks like he might be able to. Not quite. He actually missed it. Nice try there, though, but a good escape coming out of Tricked.
Yeah, that was really well played by Tricked. And I just want to go back to it. Tyrannus, he flashed, predicted the EQ combo was coming from Jarvan, flashed behind it, and that was what got him the kill onto Mirror End. And that was just so well played from him. Obviously, he died in the end, but that's the power of the Mundo we were talking about earlier. He is going to be able to 1v1 this set.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of Sona in the middle. Whoa, flat forward collateral damage, Vincent Vega. Holy cow, Tyrannus actually getting caught in the Tribush as well. Power of Dreams getting death marked straight away. Good reaction by Tyrannus. Can he get enough damage down? Looks like he might be able to. All the shadow dashing around isn't quite enough. Power of Dreams, he's just got too much regeneration. He gets it. Tyrannus falls. Nice job there by Power of Dreams. This is exactly what we were talking about in the pregame. How do you kill a Mundo as a Zed?
And this is only going to get worse for Tyrannus as well. I mean, that was close, and it was well played from both sides. Like, he doesn't even have a Randuin's yet. He doesn't have a Thornmail. In like 2 to 3 items time, this Mundo's going to be unstoppable. You know, Poppy's going to have a hard time touching him. At least certainly isn't going to do very much. And this Caitlyn's going to struggle as well. So, if VP can keep stalling like this, they're only 2k behind. That's not that bad. And if they can pick up a dragon at some point to get that attack damage and AP boost, they're way back in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely looking like they've evened things up quite nicely so far. They do need to start getting some dragons, though. The gold, difference at the top of your screens, it lies a little bit after 4.19. There's nothing that tells you how many dragons have gone down. We know, in fact, there are 2 on the side of Tricked. So if you look at 4.19 standings, that's got a 2k, additional lead for Tricked that we're not seeing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You got to consider that 6% damage. AD and AP increase, and it's only going to get bigger obviously as the game goes on. But the problem right now is this Orianna isn't doing an awful lot. She's only picked up 2 items right now. The Zed is definitely putting down a lot more map pressure, but we do just see this dragon spawning. So, and as I say that, we do get pause coming out. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Putra is having issues, and if anyone remembers last week, this might be a little bit scary if you're a Virtus.Pro fan. Last week, Putra, his video card overheated, I believe. He was not able to keep playing in exactly this situation where they were up in Game 1. So hopefully he gets back a little bit quicker this time. Certainly bringing back some bad memories for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a terrible thing to see. Although, it has just said that it's a DC on the side of VP, so hopefully nothing too serious, and we should be hopping back in games shortly. What do you think about this dragon then? Because it's obviously going to be a big point of contention. Both teams need it. Tricked want to deny it away from VP, and obviously VP want it for that additional benefit of attack damage and ability power. So do you think we're going to see a big explosive fight now, or do you think one team's going to want to give it up?
I think it's pretty hard for Tricked to contest this. I mean, they are strong, but look at where Tyrannus is. He's 6 of their kills, and he's in the top lane with no teleport or anything to that effect. He is not going to be able to come down and help out defending this. Virtus.Pro, on the other hand, they're already in position, and if they get it without taking too much of a loss, Power of Dreams can just teleport back up to the top lane and keep shutting down Tyrannus' split push. So I'm kind of surprised that Tyrannus headed to this top lane knowing that Dragon was spawning so soon.
Yeah, because they obviously had the timer because they picked up the last one. Trading an outer tower for a dragon at this stage is definitely not worth it for Tricked. It gives VP half of their ticket to get back in this game seriously, in that they'll get that attack damage, they'll get that ability power, and it's only going to be, 750 goldish going over to Tricked in return. And that's across the whole team, that's not one person. It's not really going to make or break a big deal, to be honest.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you gotta look at what they'd be getting from the Dragon too. 5% movement speed globally for your entire team, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal when it comes to the fact that, you're split pushing, you're trying to go for pushes, you need to be able to disengage if you're running like a 1-3-1 or 1-4, right? But also, they've got Janna on the side of Virtus.Pro. They've already got 5% movement speed. This just equalizes them, right? It's an important buff to pick up. It's one of the strongest dragon stacks.
Yeah, the first one, as a lot of people know, is I think the most important one. Obviously the fifth one, but in this early game, the first one is definitely the most important. And I actually think a lot of people do underrate the third stack though. That movement speed, as you mentioned, is really strong. And I mean, look at their team comp. What do they don't have that much hard initiation. Yeah, there's no Malphite ultimate, there's no Jarvan Cataclysm. It's gonna be from running up and landing a crescendo, or Poppy, coming out of nowhere and running into the backline. So they need this move speed to really lock down their targets and keep that chase going. I think Tricked have misvalued this dragon. It is my honest assessment of it. I mean, you also see Poppy looking to base as well. If she goes back, there's no way they can contest this, and this should be a nice pickup for VP.
She has got the teleport available, and
that's true, yeah.
Almost 900 gold in the bank, which I believe is enough to finish up a Blade of the Ruined King. That is a big pickup.
Yeah, so I think it's 850 gold there for the blade. She's gonna pick one up, and actually that's a huge pickup, especially if wants to deal with this Mundo, who's gonna have a lot of hit points. Although he does now have the Thorn Mail as well, so that makes him such a tanky target. I think, Sana's really gonna struggle here. She doesn't have that Last Whisper or like a Brutalizer or anything yet. Zed only has that Yumu's, which is the 15 armor pen from Brutalizer. That Mundo's going to be difficult to take down, and I wonder how they deal with that.
The good news for Poppy is that your Q, right, your Crushing Blow, I believe it's Devastating Blow, actually does 8% of your target's max health as magic damage. So the fact that she's itemizing all this armor does mean that, he's going to be good against the rest of the team, but Poppy should be able to kill him over a long enough period of time. Sauna as well, once he picks up a Last Whisper, although interestingly, in my opinion, he's rushing towards some lifesteal, and he got a PD really early. He hasn't even finished Boots 2. Sauna's build is kind of interesting this game to me.
Yeah, actually, there's something I'd like to talk about, because there's two itemizations he could on. If he picks up a BT here, it's suggesting that he wants to try and live through the burst that's going to come out from Jarvan and Orianna because of that shield. But also, it gives him some effective way of dealing with Mundo. Because obviously with that Thorn Mail, he's getting hit mid-match every time he autos. That lifesteal is going to help him.
Whoa, at least she got the steal! Sorry to interrupt you there. She got the steal and flashed away, and they got the top tower. Suddenly that all backfired for VP. We were just talking about how it wasn't worth it to give it up. Whoa, Tyradus, also look at how quick he's killing the second tower. He might be able to go for this. Nah, he's going to have to back away. Power Dream is just too much of a threat against him right now. In fact, he looks like he's going to end up in a fight, and we know how this goes. Round 27. Liquid's here to back him up as well. Not even any chance of Tyradus turning this around. Oh, man.
I think, is he possibly going to get out of this one? He is being chased down. Sona's here. Nice ultimate there, but yeah, he doesn't end up going down, but... that steal was so clutch from Mouth. If they'd lost that dragon, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, but it was certainly a big way for VP to get back in. They've managed to stem the bleeding yet again. There seems to be a recurring theme with Tricked here. They keep pulling themselves out of these little pits that they are making for themselves. They are going to see clearing up the jungle here, and across the map, top lane pushing in really hard into this tower. Are going to see Power of Dreams backing off, possibly looking to see some action down onto this mid lane. Both teams quite even right now. Not so sure where. Okay, Poppy's looking to push up in this bot lane. She's going to try and get the split push on, which we talked about earlier. Oh, welcome back.
Hey, sorry about that. I'm not entirely sure what happened.
Yeah,
I live in the middle of the field, so my internet is not great.
Probably cow ran into the pole or something like that.
You joke about that, right? But that could be a thing. We actually had cows escape in the field next to me before.
We have them in the same field next to me, so I know the pain. But,
Alright, well, I'm back now, though, and what's important is not the cows in the field next to me, but, oh man, if Alistair was in this game, darn it, would have been so good.
I'm interested in this game, though, because they've sent Poppy into this bottom lane, and she has Zed backing her up. And they look like they're trying to bait something, but now Poppy's going base. Maybe they're just going to leave Zed to push the bottom lane instead. No one took this bait, though, so... Zed just sitting around in these bushes trying to make picks. I feel like Tricked are actually starting to flounder a little bit.
If he got Petra, though, that would be quite a big deal, because that is a lot of the team fight coming out of Virtus.Pro. Everyone else, I mean, they've got decent damage, but not having that burst from Orianna would be quite a big deal. I don't think she's aware that Zed knows she's there as well. Here we go, Tyrdes trying to go in, Blade the Rune King coming down, Petra, great flash over the wall, though. Actually burning both the Blade and the Deathmark cooldowns from Tyrdes. This could be an opening for VP to group up and push here.
Yeah, that's true, but I think they also have to recognize the strength of the Zed in the bot lane. He's gonna stick around and he's gonna want to push up, and now that Petra doesn't have that flash, it's gonna be something they look to deal with.
Whoa, top lane, hang on a second, Homer, he's doing a lot of damage on the Power Dreams. Power Dreams, how much damage is this Mundo doing with almost no items? Homer, he falls 1 versus 1 versus Power of Dreams. Something just went very wrong.
The thing is now, I think this Mundo has just got too far ahead. So we mentioned that Poppy is a good pick into him because she can win the laning phase and win it pretty hard, or at least for a Poppy lane. But now that it's got to that late game, they both scale up pretty well. But I just think the regen from Mundo is going to be far too much for him to deal with now. And it's worrying because we were sort of like, Poppy was the only hope to deal with this Mundo, but now that she's losing 1v1s, looking really, really scary from Trick. They pick up a good tower because of it.
If a fight lasted, let's say, 20 Elise rotations, that percentage damage could do enough. Maybe.
Possibly, yeah. If they manage to survive that long, then they really deserve a medal for that one, but yeah, it's just worrying for VP now. Oh, sorry, worrying for Trick. They are ahead, but I don't see this.
Baron.
Yeah, they are looking to Baron though. Actually, this is what VP did against them last game.
Quick. Homer,
Yeah,
I mean,
Poppy and
yeah.
going down quickly. There is no way VP gets around to this. This Zed pressure in the bot lane has basically gifted them this Baron. Really nice play from Tyrdes, to be honest, and a great call from Trick eSports.
And, when you give the gift of a Baron, the Baron gives a gift of your pressure in the bot lane becoming a lot better. This is Christmas, and everyone's giving gifts to each other. Baron is gracious. He's a nice guy. Because now, when you're split pushing with Baron buff minions, suddenly your split push is a lot stronger.
Oh yeah, on the 12th day of Christmas, my Baron buff gave to me, and all that. But yeah, as you said, the split push. What's actually great about this new Baron is you only need one person in each wave to get those improved Baron minions. If they choose to split 1-3-1, which they have a great comp to do, they're going to put Sona, Caitlyn, and Elise in that mid lane. They have so much disengage with the cocoons and the crescendo. They can then put Poppy in the top or bottom lane and keep the Zed in the other solo lane, and then let them go to town really with these improved minions. We know that Tyrdes has the ability to 1v1 Petra in this bot lane. Now with this Baron buff, if they send Mundo top, Poppy may be able to get him.
Actually, Tyrdes took a lot of damage that bot lane. He is likely going to have to back here. He's actually being collapsed on, which is an interesting decision, although Dragon's up, so maybe they're just going to go for the Dragon instead. But, the problem with setting Poppy to this top lane, Power of Dreams has proven that he can go for this 1v1. Virtus.Pro, though, they're going to get this Dragon at the very least, and Power of Dreams... Oh, actually, Homer's teleporting in. The Dragon's already gone down, though. Can they pick a fight here? I don't know about this. Moa does get Cocoon on the nearest end, but Power of Dreams in the back, jumping on the Sona. Now Vincent Vega getting onto by Homer. Great Monsoon keeping him alive for a little bit longer. He flashes away. Oh no, the Orianna used the shockwave onto Vincent Vega, but then he flashed away. Wasn't able to get anything with it. Tricker doing a nice job. Mirrorand does get onto Nico, and now VP, they're looking pretty strong. Power of Dreams, he is just so durable. No one can kill him anymore. Homer goes down. Oh, Moarth gets it. The percentage damage pays off. And now, oh, good flag and drag away. Flash forward by Moarth. Can he get the cocoon? No. Liquid, is he going to be able to get out of this? Looks like it. And overall, 3 for 4 in favor of VP. What a crazy fight. They also got the dragon.
Yeah, that was certainly a crazy fight, and we saw the strength of that Mundo. I mean, he was like 1v3ing in that backline, and he lived like with so much hit points. He hasn't even got. Oh, sorry, he does have a Spirit Visage. He's probably gonna look towards either a giant Warmogs or a Randuin's, and he's gonna be so tanky in this next fight. I do have to question the decision for Homer to TP down there. They did get an even fight, but I think they should have just given up that dragon, taken that top lane tower, and I think with the way that Homer's, itemizing, he could have really put some serious pressure on that inhibitor tower, and possibly even taken it.
I think the problem is you just gotta look, if you're tricked, you gotta say, look, how are we gonna win this game? Not how are we gonna win fights, not how are we gonna, deal with the team fights coming out of VP, but how are we gonna win this game? The answer is almost certainly split pushing. They just do not have as good a 5v5, and it's gotten too late. They have to put Homer in the top lane, they have to put Tyrdes in the bot lane, and they have to just go for towers, whilst trying to get disengages off. Going for a fight like that is not in their best interests. It's time and time again it has proven not to work, and it's just not paying off. Also, Petra, you think that fight was close, but Petra actually used Shockwave. Oh, hang on. Bot lane, though, Tyrdes is going to use Deathmark on Petra as the Zhonya's comes out. Shockwave going down, but a flash forward from Tyrdes is just way too much damage. The Ignite picks it up. But it does look like Mirror End is coming in along with Licrit. Tyrdes is quite low. He's got a GA still. He is going to have that popped in Mirror End, and Licrit looking to pick this up, maybe. Nico is coming nearby. Good crescendo keeping Tyrdes alive. They're going to be able to back out of this.
Yeah, nice pickup from Tyrdes.
Oh, Vincent Vega! He's going in the middle lane. Moa's trying to go in. Homer comes with the back. Absolutely destroys Vincent. Power of Dreams. He is the last member alive in this fight, getting knocked back into it. Diplomatic Meeting going down onto him. But he is just so tanky. It's hard to get through him.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to pick that kill up, but it does get them another tower. Orianna's dead again, and
maybe an inhibitor, to be honest.
Yeah, they have the siege. Sona's moving up. She doesn't have crescendo, but this tower's going down so quickly, and I'm sure the inhibitor's going to fall. This is a big pickup for Trick too.
That is a huge pickup. Especially the fact that it's in the mid lane. They also got this bottom lane tower just now with Tyrdes. This gives them the potential to split push the other two lanes even better, because someone's got to be dealing with the supers in the mid lane. And Baron is spawning relatively soon. They're gonna have a lot of options here. Tricked slowly weasing their way back into it. VP looked like they were in the driver's seat for a little bit, but this is what I mean. Tricked analyzed what was going wrong, and they said, look, let's not teamfight anymore. It's just not working. They went for the split push, and because they had pushed further in the side lanes than they had in the mid lane, Homer could just loop around behind to get a great stun off to Vincent. It was a really nice fight.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I think what I wanted to see from Trick was a little bit more patience with that split push, because I think it was working, and we've just seen it work. And now they've realized that it's worked. I think they're just going to... I mean, we see the Zed going bot lane again, and Poppy back in that top lane. They're just going to relentlessly push, I think. Especially with this Baron coming up in 1 minute and 40, that inhibitor's going to be down, and if they've got to deal with the Zed in bot lane as well, it's going to be hard for VP to react to this. So they are trying to back, looking for that pick, the miracle pick, to try and get this Baron.
Talking about what you mentioned earlier, like a while ago, okay? Just to remind people, you're talking about Trick maybe being able to steal away blues from Virtus.Pro as a strategy. That just happened. Tyrdes just got that blue. It's going to help him split push. And actually, I like this. Look at the way that Nico and Moarth are running through the jungle. They're trying to, sneak into positions where they can go for towers. Actually, VP have completely flanked them here, though. Sona, he is going to get flagged right onto. Great crescendo, landing on 3. Vincent Vega, he is going to get engaged onto by Homer, who does put the ultimate on him. Oh, man, he gets obliterated. Sona fighting back very nicely. Nico, is he about to get anything? Homer is just a beast right now. Tyrdes, he's actually trying to assassinate Power of Dreams. His team doesn't even need him elsewhere. Suddenly, Trick, they can end from this.
This is game for Trick. It has to be. And the VP thought they had the flank, and then Poppy happened. All I can say is this game is Poppy happened, and she. Oh no, the pickup onto Mundo. We just saw Vincent Vega. It doesn't matter what he does. He just gets absolutely exploded by Poppy. She does so much damage, and that's a great pickup from Tricked.
Alright, guys, well, Tricked, they managed to stay in it. There's still one more game of this best of 3 to come. They are still in the tournament. This is all to play for here. Both these teams, if they lose the next game, they're out of the LPL. They lose the chance to play for $20,000, and the next game